Otish.com. Learn anywhere, anytime.
Good morning. Now we are going to discuss teaching speaking. Speaking skill is also a primary skill. Listening and speaking skills are primary skills. Speaking skill is expressive skill, whereas listening skill is receptive skill. The oral ability to communicate is speaking skill. Oral ability to express ideas fluently and appropriately and comprehensively is known as speaking skill. If speaking skill is poor of a student, the language learning also becomes poor. So, first of all, the command on listening and speaking skill should be achieved to handle the language well. To get the proficiency of language, the proficiency of listening and speaking skill, including reading and writing, necessary. But the primary focus should be on listening and speaking because they are primary skills. First of all, the students have to develop primary skills in them to handle language well. Students should have knowledge of words, pronunciation, structure, context, content, etc. to speak well. Speaking skill means speaking and expressing the ideas or feelings through speech. So, developing speaking skill is important, and in primary level, we have to give much focus on developing primary skills, that is listening and speaking skills. Now, let us discuss the major activities that can be carried out while teaching of listening. Activities. Speaking activities for teaching. Teaching activities for teaching speaking. That is to develop speaking skill in students. We can use communicative games as the activity. For teaching speaking skill. There are hundreds of games that can be used, language games, for teaching language skills, especially speaking skill. For example, guessing games, onion ring game, Simon Says game, treasure hunt game, back to board game, bomb blast game, run to the board game, and in and out game. So many games can be used for teaching speaking skill or developing speaking skill in the students. For example, guessing game. One example of guessing game. The teacher can put several things into a bag. Maybe pen, pencil, duster, pin, coin, and so many things. And the students don't know what things are there in the bag. So once at a time, the teacher catches one hiddenly. The students don't see what the teacher is catching, and the teacher asks, what is this? I am holding or catching. And the students guess, is this a pencil? Is this a pen? Is this a pin? Or so many. Like this question, the students asks, yes, no question. And the teacher gives the thing to the person if the correct answer is given. Otherwise, he says no. And the game continues until the bag becomes empty. So, at last, the student with the largest number of things wins the game. And in this game, they participate speaking. And guessing game, another guessing game, the teacher can divide the students into two groups and ask them to close the eye. And to close the eye, at that time, the teacher puts something into pocket or into bag or somewhere under something. It should be hidden. And they are asked to open the eyes, and the teacher asks where it is. Where is the thing? That is pen. Where is my pen? Maybe the pen is hidden. And where is my pen? The students can say, is this under the table? Maybe the place hidden. And is it in your pocket? Is it in the bag or somewhere? And in this way, if any student says, gives correct answer, then he or she gets the point. And the group, at last, the group with the largest point, greater point, will win the game. And it can be played individually as well. And now another game. Say, back to the board. In this game also, the class can be divided into two groups, and the teacher asks a student to come to the front of the class, and he sits on a chair facing towards the friends, that is students, and he faces back the board, and the teacher writes a word on the board, and the students have to give the instructions without speaking, without pronouncing the exact word, written word on the board. For example, if the book is written there on the board, the students, if the book on the board is written, the students should not pronounce the word book, but the students should give the instruction, should explain it is something we put into the bag and carry to the school, for example. In this way, the students, the friends from the same group give instruction like this, give explanation of the word, and guess maybe put into the bag, copy wrong, and pen maybe like this, and many explanations, alternative explanations also can be given. It has the letters on it, written on it, we read it like this. The instructions, the information, the hints are given to the student sitting on the chair, and without looking at the board, he or she has to guess, and this is also guessing. And back to the board. It is also known as a vocabulary game, and it can be used as speaking, because the students speaking game, because the students are involved in speaking. And at last, the group having more points win the game. There are many games. Simon Says also can be used here if the student plays the role of teacher, and Simon Says game also can be used here for developing speaking skill. In turn, the student, or one by one, the student comes to the front and gives the instruction with Simon Says or without Simon Says. The students should follow the instruction if it is preceded by Simon Says, and if it is not preceded by Simon Says, then they should not follow. That is the way of playing this game, Simon Says, and they participate in speaking in turn for this game. So it can also be used as the speaking game. Generally, it is used for developing listening skill, because the teacher says, the instructor gives the instruction with Simon Says or without Simon Says. Without Simon Says, if the instruction is done by the student without following the instruction which is not preceded by Simon Says, then the student becomes out from the game. In this way, this is played. I have already mentioned it while talking about the listening skill. There are other games as well. There are many hundreds of games we can use in language teaching or teaching speaking as well. Now let us talk about onion ring game. In this game, the students are divided into two groups, and one group, two groups make two circles, one after another, and they face each other. And the teacher gives command, start, stop, and move while playing this game. And this is especially used for practicing language functions and language, aspect, that is grammar, function and grammar mainly. And they involve in speaking activity, so it can be used as speaking activity as well. And in this game, the students in two groups, different groups, remain in circle. They sit in circle and stand in circle, not sit. They stand in circle and face one another. Outer circle face inwards and inner circle face, the student from inner circle face outwards, so that they face each other. So they can have the language activity there. In group, equal number of students are there, so they are facing each other, and in every place there is a pair. So they work in a pair. As the teacher gives the instruction start, they start to do. For example, practicing, requesting, please give me a pen, for example. And if one says, and take it, it's your, or so on, they can have the pair work there. Maybe greeting function, for example, good morning, Ram, good morning, Sam, like this. Any function, language function can be practiced, and they practice in it orally so that it is speaking game. And as they start to talk, they start to have the discussion or just talking. And as the teacher gives the instruction, stop, then they stop to talk. And with the command move, they move one step and they change their one group from one first ring. If first ring moves rightward, the student from second ring, second circle, moves rightward, leftward and rightward, one leftward, the other rightward, so that they change their pair. So, and they start. Again, the teacher gives the command, start, and they start to talk. For example, would you mind closing your pocket? Like this. Or would you mind doing something? And of course not, the other can say, and you can do it. And would you mind doing something? And like this, please do this, do that. And the requests, any request can be made. The structure of request is given before the start of game, and the teacher has to give clear instruction and how to do it. The teacher make them clear, and they play well. Otherwise, it can't be played well. So, in this way, they practice speaking activities in this game, that is onion ring game. So many games can be played. Run to the board, memory game, and in and out game, and so many games can be used for playing, so for teaching speaking skill. And another activity, this is one. Second activity, songs, rhymes, chants. In the elementary classes or primary classes, very useful. The people enjoy songs. So they are motivated with the songs, rhymes, chants. They well practice speaking skill through them. So the teacher has to make the use of songs, rhymes, and chants in the teaching of speaking skill, especially in primary, and it is also used secondary levels. So there are many songs, hundreds of songs, thousands of songs and chants or rhymes that can be used in teaching speaking. The teacher has to present the songs orally or with materials, audio-visual materials, and then the teacher has to ask them to follow the materials presented through the audio or audio-visual devices, that is computer, projector, and so on, and or the audio or the chanting of songs or singing of songs by teacher also can be listened by the students, and they are asked to follow And then later, they themselves start to sing or chant such songs and rhymes or chants. So, there are hundreds or thousands of such songs, for children, and they are to be taught, they are to be chanted in the class according to the need and appropriateness. For example, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, a chant, and red light, what do you say? And brush your teeth, and twinkle, twinkle, little star, and we shall overcome. Go and gone, going goods every day. Three little monkeys jumping on the way. These are some examples of the songs. And many songs, the teacher has to collect many such songs and present them by chanting or singing himself or herself, or using other appropriate materials. And the plenty of opportunity to sing the such songs or rhymes or chants should be given to the students, and they have opportunities to the practice of speaking skill, and they develop this skill well through these songs, rhymes, and chants. And another, riddles can be used for speaking skill, for developing speaking skill. For example, what has to be broken before you can use it? If this type of question asked, or it is riddle presented before the student, they start to think and guess and say, is it something? Is it a pencil? Because first of all, we have to sharpen it. It is a kind of breaking. Maybe they can guess like this. No. And wood, we break and firewood, for example. If we break and use, we don't bring up tree work into the room. Like this, they can guess. Or egg. Some student can guess correctly as well. Egg, without breaking, it is not used. So, and another, I am tall when I am young. I am short when I am old. What am I? Like this. No, they can guess. Is it something this, or is it something that? And if the student says, any student says candle, is it candle? Then it's correct. And like this, with the use of riddles, the classroom can be made lively and oral practice takes place. They themselves can, students themselves can work in pair or group with the riddles they play. One student can play the role of teacher and other student as the students. And with the riddles, we can have the practice of speaking skill. And another activity can be acting, short role play, maybe role play as well, or simulation, that is imitation of activity, simulation. In this, the students can make caricatures, and the teacher can give some acting. He can act of any character, and by watching, observing, the students can imitate it, or by the teacher can show the acting of any character with the audio visual materials, and by looking at it, by listening to it, the student try to act out. That is, acting and role can give a small role as well, and playing the role. They make the use of language, oral use of language. So through acting, role play, simulation, the speaking skill is taught, or it can be developed. So it is important activity. And cue dialogue. The hints or cues can be given, and the students are asked to make the dialogue in general in pair. So that is cue dialogue. First of all, the teacher make dialogue with the student, and then for this, the teacher can show a dialogue visually with the audio-visual material, can, if available, through projector can be, and or he himself can make with some other person or any student who is better to make such dialogue. And by looking at, observing it, the other peer can make the dialogue, and for this, clues, hints are given. And according to the given hint, the students make the dialogue, prepare the dialogue. And dialogue and drills. Drills. The different types of drills can be made, can be practiced for developing speaking skill. Repetition. One type of drill is repetition. The repetition drill, what the teacher says, the student repeat it. For example, this is a book. If teacher says, this is a book, the student says. That is, it is repeated. And controlled or dialogue, in control dialogue, that is drill, control drill, the students are given a model dialogue, that is model drill. He likes ice cream, but he doesn't like cake. If given, if it is presented, they listen this, and likewise, that is control, not just repetition. And in this case, he likes ice cream, he doesn't like cake. If given, if the student listens this, and they have to make, the teacher gives the hint, drink tea, coffee, and he drinks tea. He doesn't drink, but he doesn't drink coffee. Like this, they have to make such sentence, and they have to practice drill. Repetition must, many times. That is another repetition drill. And drill, another expansion drill. School, for example, if school, the teacher says school, the student says school, and to school, the student also add to school. Goes to school, the teacher says, and the student goes to school, and he goes to school, he goes to school. Like this, expansion can be made. And another substitution drill, the student, the teacher make a sentence. He is a doctor, for example, and the students have to follow. He is a doctor. And after repeating sometimes, the teacher gives teacher, and the student have to substitute doctor with teacher. He is a teacher. Or C, then the teacher can say C, and C is a teacher. And nurse, C is a nurse. Like this, the substitution takes place, substitution drill takes place. So after after dialogue, we discussed here drills, and now another activities. Let us storytelling. The teacher can tell a story, and student also can retell it. Storytelling and retelling. Students are asked to tell the story, that is storytelling. And if the teacher tells the story and students are asked to retell it, that is retelling. Storytelling or retelling. This is another activity that is important activity in speaking skill. The teachers can ask the students which they to tell the story which they have known, or the teacher can ask the students to read a story, and after reading a story they have to retell it. Storytelling and retelling, and completing the story as well orally also can be the storytelling activity. And giving direction also can be an activity for teaching speaking. The students are asked to give the direction. Individually, they can be asked. By showing the map, one student should give the direction to the other. By looking at the map, the teacher presents the map, and according to first the teacher gives the direction, and later the students give with the different pictures, with the same picture and different locations. The student can give the direction, and by giving direction they develop speaking speaking skill. And pair work and group work are also the activity. Pair work. In pair work, the students practice much speaking activity, or in pair work, the language functions, grammar can be practiced. Two students work together in pair work. The teacher has to give the role or activity what they have to do. The teacher instruct. For example, offering. If the student are asked to offer something to a partner, that is A and B, for example, A has to offer, for example, would you like a cup of tea? It is an offer. And the another student, that is B, may accept, or that is the second student, that is B, has to respond to the offer. Okay, I want to like it. I want to have it. He can say, sorry, I have just taken it. Like this, the response can be given by second student. So A and B, and we have to consider that the role should be changed. First, A makes an offer and B responds, then B makes an offer and A responds. Like this, the pair work is done. It is an example for making an offer for, for pair work. Many activities, many functions, many grammatical practice can be carried out or done through pair work. So the teacher has to observe how they are doing, and in difficulty, the teacher has to support, help them. And likewise, group work. The students are divided into groups. If individual and pair work are not proper, in such case, group work is carried out. In group work, the students are divided into the groups of 5 or 6 generally, and they have to work in a certain topic orally. It is for developing speaking skills, so they have to work in group orally, and they have to come to the conclusion. Generally, group work can be done for discussion as well. Another discussion. Discussion also another way, activity of teaching speaking skill. Discussion can be done in various ways. One of the ways is dividing students into the groups and giving the topic for discussion and making them discuss themselves, make arguments as well, and come to the conclusion and present the conclusion before the class. But it has to be done orally because it is for developing speaking skills. Another important activity, that is picture, real objects, events, place, describing pictures, describing objects, describing events, or describing place. This is very, very important activity for developing speaking skill. The teacher presents the picture and asks them to describe it. What is it? The teacher can ask the question for leading them to the discussion or describing. Otherwise, they may feel difficulty for describing. So, what is it, and what is this part, and what does it work? How does it work? What is it used for? And so on. Like this, the question can be asked for picture, for objects, and for events also. How is it? What events, for example, the celebration of any festival, Dashain, the sports competition, for example, maybe the hints and clues are given, or the teacher can ask some questions related to such events, places, objects, a picture, what they are going to discuss or describe. Then according to teachers' hints or questions, they are motivated or encouraged to participate in describing such things. So it is very fruitful in teaching speaking skill. One other activity, that is recitation. We have discussed songs, rhymes, chants, but not yet discussed about the text, other sentences, paragraphs. The students can read aloud. Reading aloud or loud reading is also the activity for developing speaking skill. So recite. The teacher has to provide the students sufficient opportunity to recite the text so that they can develop pronunciation of the words, and they can discriminate the sounds, and they can have the practice of speaking. They have to recite or read aloud. So this is another important activity. So these are some major activities that can be carried out in teaching of speaking. Other activities also can be carried out. These are major activities. Generally, the question is asked to explain any 5, any 10. I have discussed about 10 or more, I think, here. You have to be prepared for at least 5 activities, how these activities are carried out, what these activities and how they are carried out in classroom teaching for developing speaking skill. You have to be well prepared for writing the answer of such questions. You have to know the process, how such activities are carried out. I think I'm able to make you clear about it. Now, let's stop speaking activity. About a speaking activity, we will discuss the teaching of reading activity later. Thank you.